Greetings, Ashes reporting for duty. So here I am, I finally got the base tour ready to go. I do apologize that it took so long. I was in the process of renovating the entire place before I actually showed the place off. This base is from my first playthrough. I did manage to beat the game, so that means there will be spoilers for late game gear and items. If you don't want to be spoiled on that, then I suggest you click off the video right now. Also, this is the first time I'm doing a live commentary, so I do apologize if there's going to be a lot of cuts in this video. I'm not going off of any script, I'm just talking as I go. So do bear with me as I go along with this tour. So, the base that I have set up is in the security office. So, if we head down through this hall, as you can see, here it is. Of course, the first thing that you are greeted with is my defense setup. I've got some turrets set up over here, as long with some barricades to keep outsiders out. Of course, I got a sign right here, property of Dr. Ashes. Now, if we go beyond this barrier, as you can see, since this is a carbon barricade, if I activate this lever, it activates an additional layer of cover if we ever need it. And in this security gates, we have our security guy, Steve. As you can see, all visitors must check in with Steve. You know, he may be a wooden mannequin, but what the heck? He may be a wooden mannequin, but he still gets the job done. You know, everyone who visits here still needs to check in with him, even if he is an inanimate object. And here, we have two containment units, which are holding two very specific enemies. If you know, you know. And right here is a freezer where I hold all the food necessary to keep these guys happy in their cells. Over here is a farming area. I've got several crops already grown and ready to go. I do have some beehives that I can collect for honey, as well as a bee suit conveniently placed right here. And I also have dedicated spots for the gray app fruits as well as the antiverse weed. Down here is another barricade that I have set up, along with some extra cover if I need it. Down here is where I have the turrets set up, along with some extra traps, including this one that I keep for the security bot right here. Now, when I started making this base, I originally wanted to have it extend all the way out into this outer area, ending with the entrance to manufacturing, and down here to that other area, to like the main lobby and the offices. I even had a lot of lights set up for extra visibility and whatnot. But over time, as I'm working on it, I realized that it was just a lot of work, and plus I didn't have any interesting ideas to put here over in this area, except for like just creating a makeshift barricade to just keep the security bot in check. But it was a lot of work, so I did decide to simplify it down just to this barricade up here. Now, in case you missed it, I also did have a sign right here that says beware of lasers. And this door leads into the locker room, which is another entrance to my base. You will find out why I do have that sign here, but until then, let's head inside the base. Alright, now heading inside, here is the base. Now, before I actually go to talk about it, I do want to talk a bit about the place itself. In my opinion, the security office is the best place to set up a base. Building a base in office is generally very good, simply due to the fact that it connects to every major area in the game, so that makes backtracking a lot simpler. And not only that, but once you craft an extra controller to repair this panel, you can activate these shutters, which completely locks off this entrance to the security office. That means that if you ever have any base invaders, they are unable to enter through this side of the base. And as for a specific enemy, they'll only be able to enter through this locker room, which makes handling them a lot more manageable. Of course, the only downside is that you need a keypad hacker level 1, which means that you have to take out at least 3 security bots to gain access to this room. So it's not available from the get-go, but outside of that caveat, this is a very good place to set up a base. Now I'm going to start from the first floor, starting from this side and working our way through. So over here, I got a good collection of figurines that I have set up over here, along with some arcade machines that I collected from Flat Hill. This spot here is some small furnishing area, along with my antique shotgun, as well as the heads of the Tarask and the Yeti. I managed to kill 2 of these enemies using the antique shotgun that you see right now. In fact, I took screenshots of my kills, which I'm going to show right now. Of course, it wasn't exclusively the antique shotgun. I do want to give a shout out to the GOAT, as always, the Mugnates. They are just a godsend for mid-game. But the antique shotgun did take the final blow for both of these guys. Very proud of this gun. I love it. Over here, I have an aquarium. Right now, the only fish that I have in here are the rare fish, that being the anti-verse fish, and the anti-fish and IS-98. I do want to plan to add more rare fishes into this aquarium, but right now I only got 2. Right here is a general living room. You know, nothing special to talk about it, I do just have this painting set up here and whatnot. Now coming over here, I got this nice little snow globe that I've collected. And this is where I also keep all of my cooked foods. This freezer here is dedicated to foods that gives me some helpful buffs. Here's the warming drawer. Anything that needs to be warmed up gets put in here. And this fridge here is where I keep foods that doesn't give a buff or is non-perishable. This table right here is where I keep all of my cooked foods. As you can see, I got a nice collection of them right here on the table. And it seems that Dr. Carson wanted to enjoy some food as well, but I guess he's camera shy. Over here is the kitchen. You know, got an oven set up, some stoves, and chef counters. And this fridge here is where I keep all the perishable cooking ingredients. And this container right here is for the non-perishable ones.
Hey.
Yes, hello. Got some barrels of water here. This is for the soups that I sometimes make. And in here, the hazard fridge where I keep the irradiated foods. And this is cooking utensils, which I keep all the pots, pans, and the soup bowls. And this spot is the storage area. Anything that doesn't get used gets stored in here. Got some power, cooking, collection of armors, and furniture. Now down here is the reason why I have that sign, is because this entire floor is covered in laser emitters. But if I interact with this lever, it turns them off, which means I can safely go in and out of this place without being hurt by the lasers. And as well, I got some extra security set up. Now for this side, this is where I have all of my crafted armor sets. I store them all here, and all of them are also fully upgraded. Got a nice collection of them right here. In here is the restroom. This is where you can find a shower, so you can wash off any dirt or rats you have on you. And unfortunately, the original toilet in this room is out of order. In fact, if I open up this door, yep, got a mannequin right here just doing a shrug and whatnot. But that's not the end of the world, because I do have a portal toilet set up right here, along with some toilet paper if you need them. Now, before we go up into the second floor, let's take a look at Steve's office. Get out of my way. So here we are, we got Steve, and we got his dog right here, along with his handgun. You know, it's a nice little space for Steve. He's a good security guard. He does some fine work. Now, coming up to the second floor, starting here, this is my bedroom. These two crates is my personal storage here. And if you notice the pest walking around the base, that is my pet, who I named Dust. That's a good boy. Here is my bed, along with a collection of posters, and I've got a comfy beanbag and my own arcade, which I also collected. So right over here, I got some exercise equipment set up, and this is where I have my crafting bench, which is the core foundation of my base. I have all the essentials right here, ready to go. I have this is where I store all my mats. This is where I store my irradiated stuff, as well as some extra stuff, medical supplies, fishing stuff, and the paints. Now behind this cubicle is my personal generator. Now this is powering my entire base. If you do power sockets into industrial battery, into laser emitter, and finally into laser power converter, this setup is good enough to power your entire base. And that's because the only thing the industrial battery is powering is the laser emitter, which means that this is good enough to keep your stuff powered throughout the night. And to prove that, if I disconnect my industrial battery from to my laser emitter, as you can see, everything is powered off. And I mean everything, I mean everything. As you can see, as you saw before, the lever activates the extra barrier on this barricade, but now it no longer does that. Of course, the only exception are these two containment units, and that's because they are connected to their own industrial batteries, just as a safety precaution. But I'm gonna head back up and turn the power back on. So coming up here, I have two teleporter pads. As you can see, the left one leads to a portal hub, and the right one leads to a base portal. And for the right one, I will explain how that works. So here I am in a completely different place. And the reason why I have that right teleporter is because I always carry a teleporter pad with me wherever I go. So whenever I'm out exploring, if I'm hungry or thirsty or I have a full inventory, all I have to do is just place this pad that I carry on me next to a power socket. Get this built up. So I connect it to a power socket. And now if I take it, it leads me back to my base. As you can see, my right base portal is now active. Now the advantage that this has over a personal teleporter is that I can freely come back to wherever I left once I finish up what I need to do. So once I drop off my loot and get my needs topped up, all I have to do is take the teleporter and I am right back where I am. I can just take the pad and I can continue exploring. Pretty cool, huh? I will show off the portal hub soon. But before that, I want to show you guys my personal favorite spot in my base. And that is the firing range and armory. As you can see, I have some extra target dummies set up with some familiar enemies. And in here is where I store all of my weapons. This spot right here, I have some laser collectors. This is so that I can keep my laser weapons topped up. And I do carry an extra laser collector on me at all times, whenever I need him. Over here is where I keep my collection of guns, and over here is dedicated to my melee weapons, as well as some shields. Of course, I have some extra melee weapons in here, and as well as some extra ranged weapons, along with some throwables and ammunition. Before I move on to the portal hub, I will give one last spoiler warning. This portal hub will contain locations to several portal worlds that you'll visit in the game. So this is your one last spoiler warning. Turn back now if you don't want to be spoiled on the portal worlds. Alright, coming in here into the portal world, I have set up my portal hub at GM_Flatgrass. As you can see, I have several portals here, all of them leading to different portal worlds that you can visit in the game. Starting with Bar Garden and coming up all the way to IS-83. That's the arcade machine that you can find down at Labs. I also have a collection of personal teleporters that I crafted in the mid-game. Here they all are now. I am still using some of them. They are still useful, as you know, teleporter pads are quite difficult to grind for if you're on like default world settings. But they are well worth the grind because of how much they cut down on backtracking, and also how reusable they are compared to the personal teleporters. So if we take a visit to one, this portal will take me back to the portal hub, and as you can see, I have two makeshift batteries here. Both of them are powering the teleporter pad. This setup is good enough to keep a single device powered throughout the entire night. So that's Bar Garden. Let's take a look at another place like Flat Hill. So I have this pad set up next to a power cell. Of course, I already did collected this ahead of time, but like if I did arrive in this place, I would collect this energy cell, take this ladder down, and take this portal, which will take me to this power cell that you can collect. And for the third and last one, I do have some rope vines set up. This is so that you can easily scale the building without having to deal with the composer inside the server room. So I got one rope right here, which will take me to this spot, and this second rope will take me to the energy cell. And here we are. And this is where this cell would be. Alright, time to come back down. Wahoo! Look guys, I'm alive and well. I totally did not cut that fall out from the video and to make it seem like that I did survive the fall. Totally did not do that. I totally did not jump off the building and fell to my death and immediately ran back here to make it seem like I did survive the fall. Now I'm going to show off the base from my second playthrough. This is the one that you saw from my previous video, so I'm very excited to show that one off. So here we are on my second playthrough. I haven't beaten this playthrough yet. I'm currently at the hydro plant, but I still feel like it's worth showing off. So for this base, I have it set up in the data farm inside this area. Just like the security office, you also need a level 1 keypad hacker to access it. Now, the advantage this has over the security office one is that since this area is only accessible via a ladder, this makes invasions basically impossible, and that's because the NPCs aren't programmed to climb ladders. Once you do unlock the crafting bench upgrade, which disables the portal storms that can happen, invasions are pretty much a non-issue. Now, coming up here, I've got some land set up for light sources, and in here is just a bathroom. Nothing special about it here. Now, down here is the main area. Of course, I got the crafting bench here, along with the mats and all the essential stuff we need. I haven't unlocked laser emitters yet for this playthrough, so I am using batteries, as well as a charging station. Over here is the dedicated kitchen area with a small table with some soups, and fridge carries all the foods I have. Over here is where I keep my bed, a small chair, and some extra storage stuff. And over here, I have some exercise equipment right here. a small living space with TV. You know, I got the head of the Tarask right here, and an arcade machine, and also a small gardening area with some barrels, as well as a beehive with a suit right here. As you can see, I have personal teleporters which takes me to different portal worlds in the game, and they are well worth crafting them so that you can easily go to a place that you need to farm mats, and also if you build one that takes you back to your base, you can just use that and you're back here. These teleporters save so much time, so they are well worth the grind to cut down on the amount of backtracking that you will do in this game. Trust me, they are worth it. And that concludes today's video. I apologize if this is a short one, and I also apologize if my commentary isn't that good. Like I said, this is my first time doing a live commentary, but I hope the video was still enjoyable to watch. If it is, then please leave a like, and if you want to see more content from me, then subscribe to the channel. I have a lot more videos that I want to make. Hopefully they won't take too long, but I do want to try and keep up a consistent upload schedule. So until then, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.